You will be aware we are on the precipice of yet another excruciating increase in the cost of living. Imperialist wars are wreaking havoc on the global economy. The US attack on Iran is already pushing up energy bills, food prices, mortgages and rents. But this is just the beginning. Much greater hardships are on the horizon, so our solidarity must remain strong to weather this storm and coordinate the fight back. As a representative of TCS Union, I am proud of the solidarity between our members, the solidarity we share with the communities that we serve, and the solidarity members show with working class communities around the world. Last year, our union campaigned to stop the cuts to personal dependent payments, and we won, working with groups like Disabled People Against Cuts to stop an attack on disabled people. Keir Starmer was forced to halt this cut to personal dependent payments, but MPs proceeded to vote through a brutal cut in universal credit, with the health element being slashed in half for those slashed in half for new claimants. This means that if a nurse develops an illness from treating sick patients, or a construction worker develops a chronic injury from years of hard graft, which would leave them unable to return to work, they will be entitled to just £50 a week in health support. My union represents tens of thousands of members in the DWP who are fighting against this injustice and many others like it every day, for a system that cares for people, not castigates them. As civil servants, we see firsthand the injustices of a capitalist state. Nowhere are these injustices more clear than in the tax system. Taxes on workers are higher than they have been for 100 years, and the government's freeze on the income tax thresholds has dragged millions of earners into higher tax brackets than they should be. Meanwhile, multinational corporations and their shareholders continue to benefit from tax incentives, reliefs, and offshore structures that have contributed to staggering levels of wealth inequality. In 2025, billionaire wealth increased by over 16%, with the richest 0.00 paying for a fairer system. Last year, we launched our Tax Justice Report, which calls for a range of changes to the UK tax system. The proposed changes would bring in around £70 billion a year for the Treasury, making massive inroads into the estimated £100 billion tax gap created by illegal evasion and avoidance schemes. Like so many public sector services, HMRC's greatest challenge is staffing, but investment in staff would be well worth the return. For every £1 spent in the large business directorate, for example, they generate £95 of additional compliance yields. The solidarity of our members is also universal and international. In 2024, members in the Home Office worked with Care for Calais and other refugee groups to defeat the Tory government in High Court over the Rwanda deportation plan. We took action against the Home Office and against the Ministry of Defence, and we won. Our union represents tens of thousands of members in the Home Office who are fighting back for a fair and humane asylum system. But this fight is taking place against the backdrop of a Labour government who are cutting international aid, cutting the diplomatic service, while expanding the military budget. More wars create more refugees, and our members are being given less and less resource to manage that fallout. But this increased spending on the military-industrial complex isn't about improving our national defence. It's about increasing returns to shareholders of the global arms dealers and supporting the US President's chaotic quest to reassert American hegemony over the global economy, to perpetuate the extraction of wealth and resources from workers in developing countries to a global elite of asset owners. We need only look at Britain's track record of foreign intervention in recent years to see the trajectory of this latest excursion. Did Britain's interventions in Iraq, Afghanistan and Libya help to liberate the inhabitants of those countries? No. All those countries have been destabilised and destroyed, whilst diverting resources from our own deteriorating public services. As trade unionists, we recognise that our fellow workers are not our enemy, they are our allies. We know that our enemy travels by private jet, not by boat. Working people win when we unite together as a unified class and reject the false narratives conjured up by the capitalist media who demonise workers in other countries, asylum seekers, migrants and disabled people. The question is, comrades, how do we put a stop to all this? How do we build a better future? We have the knowledge, we have the policies, but we need the political power to implement them. Clearly, the Labour Party cannot be trusted to deliver a better future for working people. What about Reform UK, the party that wants to cut taxes for the rich and big businesses, slash public services, cut social security, and roll back rights for trade unions, workers and renters? This is a party for the rich, by the rich. The venomous snake of a party that whispers poison into the ears of workers to blame migrants and refugees for the shortcomings of capitalist imperialism. Reform are a party who want to sow division and hatred between workers, while they continue to funnel the wealth we create into the hand of a concentrated elite. The change we need will not come from the Labour Party or any other political party. Real power, comrades, comes from the workplace, not from Westminster. Real power lies with workers who make the economy run. I'd like to end with a short excerpt written by Frederick Engels on April 30th, 1891. Quote, "The division of society into a small, excessively rich class and a large, propertyless class of wage workers results in society suffocating from its own superfluity, while the great majority of its members is scarcely or even not at all protected from extreme want. This state of affairs becomes daily more absurd and more unnecessary. It must be abolished, and it can be abolished. A new social order is possible in which the present class differences will have disappeared, through the planned utilisation and extension of the already existing enormous productive forces of all members of society. The workers are becoming more and more determined to win this new social order, which will be demonstrated on both sides of the ocean by May the 1st, tomorrow, and on Sunday, May the 3rd. End quote. So then it was as it is today, comrades. Let's continue to show our determination to win that better world, built in solidarity, not division. Let us stand together and stay united. Thank you.
Thanks, Raven. And yes, solidarity in all of those campaigns, and we will continue to fight together for a better world. Our last speech is going to be talking about a winning local industrial dispute from the end of last year. This saw over 100 workers on strike, with double that amount refusing to cross picket lines in solidarity. It was fought jointly by Unison and the NEU, and our speaker is going to be me as one of the NEU local branch secretaries and elected national executive member for the National Education Union. This dispute really shows the worst side of our school system. It was a private school that thought that they would get more money but remain entirely unaccountable if they transferred into becoming an academy, and so converted, taking money from the public purse but attempting to stay unaccountable to staff or our community. They started to build an empire, taking over several schools and growing their own primary school, which forced one of them locally to close. So as you can tell, a really objectionable CEO for the Cathedral Schools Trust, CST. But to add to all of this, they took funding from the government, paid teachers the cost of living pay uplift each year, but cut 5 months of this pay uplift from each member of support staff every single year. Thousands of pounds stolen from the lowest paid employees, those employees who do first aid, who support children when they need extra help, who are the first smiley face in the playground or that the parent needs, whilst ensuring the trust have a central senior leadership team sitting in offices, all of whom are earning wages well over 100 million. Sometimes things are a bit tricky to understand inside. So we decided to do that with this. We had the discussion outside on the picket lines. The NEU and Unison balloted members together, which wasn't always the easiest to match up timeframes and demands of 2 big unions. But we managed it, and the members took their action in the first week after October half-term. We had about 120 support staff during the ballot, but wanted the strongest possible action. So the NEU talked to our teacher members about not crossing picket lines in those schools. It wasn't a hard conversation. Every school turned out the majority of their teacher members to support their colleagues and shut